Hi, my name is Peter, and this evening at the Scrum Breakfast Club we talked about the Product Backlog Iceberg. This is a metaphor for thinking about backlog refinement, and I'd like to explain how that works. So if we think of our product backlog as an iceberg, we've got these big blocks, we call them epics. They're down at the bottom of the iceberg. Epics are ideas what we'd like to do next fall. They're good placeholders. They remind us that we want to do something, but they're much too big to actually estimate them. We can't use them as a basis for actually planning our projects. In order to do that, we need to get them into smaller pieces. So how big is an epic? Well, I like the no estimates approach. We just call this NFC. N means no, C means clue, and F is for you to figure out. When we want to get this down to the point where we can make a budget, they need to be small enough that we can understand the individual pieces and think about what the acceptance criteria might be. I like to call these features. I believe the guy who invented this, I believe that was Alistair Coburn, he calls them stories. People use stories to mean a lot of different things, so I talk about features. Features are the smallest thing that people outside the development team can really understand what you're talking about. In the no estimates framework, this is called TFB. Now that F is still for you to figure out, T means two, and B means big. We can get a handle on it, but it's still too big to put into a sprint. In order to get them into a sprint and have your team be able to implement them reliably, they need to be smaller still, something that your team can implement in a day or two or three. We call this smallest size the grains of sand. In no estimate, this would just be a 1. If this were a t-shirt size, we might call it extra small or small. And these are the things that you want to put into your sprint. Now these things will all of these things, all 3 levels, they're still backlog items, they still have acceptance criteria. None of these things are tasks. A task is what your development team uses to get stories done, but the story is what they're implementing. So what happens? Well, you've got your team shines down on that iceberg. By a magical process, these grains of sand get turned into working functionality. They melt. The iceberg rises, and you need to take the next round of the next feature and turn it into grains of sand. And every once in a while, you're going to be turning epics into collections of features for planning and budgeting the next project. And that, in 25 words or less, is backlog refinement.